I always feel the pressure to find the perfect gift for my relatives. In this case, whether you're sending an unforgettable gift or treating yourself to everyday perfection, Omaha Steaks delivers the world's best steak experience. For me, I'm not just into steaks. I like all types of meat. That's why I'll usually get the Winter's Best Seller Pack. It comes with juicy fillets, chicken breast, pork chops, and even burgers. Omaha Steaks offers unrivaled quality and variety, and every bite is backed by their 100% guarantee. A family-owned company with over 100 years of experience in the meat industry. Save big on unforgettable gifts with Omaha Steaks. Visit omahasteaks.com for 50% off site-wide and earn an extra 20% off select favorites during their cyber sale. And for an extra $35 off, use promo code YUM at checkout. That's omahasteaks.com, promo code YUM at checkout. Terms apply. See site for details. Go to omahasteaks.com to get 50% off site-wide plus an extra 20% off select favorites and more limited-time deals during their cyber sale. And use promo code YUM at checkout for an extra $35 off. Minimum purchase may apply. See site for details. A big thanks to our advertiser, Omaha Steaks.
Hello, hello.
Hi.
We did that
So
without laughing.
enthusiastic.
We were laughing a little, but we made it through.
Yes, you did it. Huzzah.
It was good. I'm Selene Villa.
I'm Pascale.
You hate saying that. And this is Life in Jest, a show that subscribes to Chaucer's sage words. What are they? Oh, many a true word hath been spoke in jest. Yes.
There you go.
Yeah.
I knew there was jest in it.
What? Yeah, jest had to be in it. Right, yeah. Remember when I thought Shakespeare said that? No.
I don't remember that, really.
Yeah, we've spoken about this a few times. He did say something, but it was not that. Like, it was all in other episodes. I'm not even going to pretend I'm going to research where those are. I was listening to another podcast. Writers, we're in our own little thought world. It's very hard to be a writer because you're existing on 2 planes minimum. And if you're writing more than one book, it could be 3, 4, 5 planes, And basically, each manuscript is its own world. Just like when you're reading a book, you can see that's a world. Well, that's a world that someone had to create. And even if it's contemporary, still a whole world of people. It's very hard for me to ground myself into this world, right? But I'm in the moment when we're recording, right? And I'm all good. When I'm in the moment with people, it's great. I am there. I am focused. I am into it. I do love conversation, especially with you, my dear friend, right? My bestie. I love it. But if I say I'm going to look something up after, it's not going to happen. Because then I'm in this moment now and I have every intention of doing it. But then later on, I'm completely invested in something else that I'm doing, right?
Yeah.
The only way I really can exist in all these different things is when I go into them, there's nothing else.
Yeah.
I think it's like men who cheat, right? And they just compartmentalize.
Yeah. I can see that.
So I'm compartmentalizing my manuscripts and things where these men are compartmentalizing their women, which is pretty awful. I once saw a shirt. I'm not even going to bring this up because I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to digress.
I want to know the
anyway,
shirt.
What?
I want to know.
All right. I was in South Carolina with my boyfriend, who I did not know at the time was a womanizer. And I saw a shirt in a store and it said, the secret of happiness is to find a woman who, there was a list of like 5 different things of qualities of a woman that you need to find, right? Like find a woman who this or that. And then the last line was, and the most important thing is that these women should never meet.
God.
Yeah.
Wow. That's douchey.
And I told him about it, right?
Okay.
And he left, but I didn't know, right? These were all
sure he did.
Another time, I was talking to him about AshleyMadison.com. You remember Howard used to always advertise Ashley Madison? By the way, not only was it for cheaters, but it turned out it was in large part a scam because a lot of those people were fake. Well, you know what? Serves those cheaters right. But I do know one person that actually did have an affair with that stupid thing. So it apparently does work sometimes. I don't even know if it exists. Anyway, I told my boyfriend and he's like, what's the name of that again? And I kidding, but many a true word hath been spoke in jest. Except he didn't need that. He was just running around. He knew he had his little, I guess he was always looking for more. He was like Tiger Woods without the money.
It just sounds exhausting.
Yeah, it's true. All that to say that cheating sucks, but I don't want to put a whole dark light on him. I actually might write a novel about that. I wrote a whole novel, how I met him and all the things. And we definitely had a lot going on in that book in terms of the relationship, but I didn't know about the cheating at all until after that book was done. And it took me quite by surprise. And so I started writing another book, which I might now write. When you're writing a book and you're like in the middle of it, it's very painful. A lot of Lunar Rising I wrote as I was experiencing it, but I think as I get older, it gets more intolerable to think about these things. But
Yeah.
that book, I started writing it. I'll tell you the name of it. Who knows if it'll always be the name? It's called The Line in the Sand. Now, you say, I'm going to draw a line in the sand, and that's going to be my boundary. If it goes past that, it's over. Well, but the thing about a line in the sand is it often gets washed away by the tide,
Yeah.
right? So
Absolutely.
that's why I was calling it that. And it starts with the person finding out in a very dramatic way that their partner is a cheater. So
I've
I
read that.
might go back to it because now we're going to be talking about books and libraries and things, but this is a book related thing. So I'll just say this also. I just found out that there is a platform that apparently has existed for a while. It started out for music, but they do books too. Like right now it's ebooks and audiobooks, right? And I'm mostly traditionally published, but I also have Indeed of some books. And I also have things that have never been published, or I got my rights back and I don't know what I'm going to do with them. And I've been thinking about them, but I just found out about this platform called Curios, Curios. Okay. It is a platform in which independent artists, it started out for recording artists and then now they've added books, and you can sell your stuff there and get 100% of the money.
That's
It's
great.
pretty awesome. When you put your books on like Amazon or any of them really, a lot of stuff goes to the platform. There's a lot of ways that we don't get as much money for our efforts, especially with the Kindle Unlimited. You get paid per page read, and it's like pennies, right? You work so hard on your writing, right? And people will pay $10 for a cup of coffee, but I'm getting pennies for them to read my book. Something's wrong here because it took me so much time and effort to write this book. And I do love a cup of coffee. I'm not disparaging it, but it's a little more common. You can get the same kind of coffee in a lot of places. Whereas when you read a book, that book is from one author, one artist who took all that time to pour their heart out into that book. And it is just a gift from that person to others. And it's a circle of humanity because each book that an author writes is their version of humanity, some little glimpse into humanity. It's endless. That's why there's so many books and so many writers. But it's an individual thing. It's a work of art, just like if you look at a Van Gogh, who, by the way, didn't get any money while he was alive.
Why?
I just read a thing that his brother was the only one who believed in him. Then he died like 6 months later, and it was the brother's wife who got attention to Van Gogh's work, which is very interesting. I don't know more. It was a Facebook thing. Somebody put it up there. And also, that poet. Who's that poet? The one that was always in her room. Emily Dickinson, right? She didn't publish one thing in her life. Not one thing, right? So in any case, Curios, you could put the stuff up there. You get 100%. And they charge a very small fee to the person buying the ebook or it's an ebook or audiobook. Okay. And very small. Like their first thing they ever did was put out a thing by a rapper. And he had as a lot of people do in the music industry, a really bad experience being ripped off by the record label and his management. So he had to go through all this legal stuff. He had gone on a world tour and he had been wildly sold out all over. And he only made $60,000 for the whole thing. And $60,000 is a lot of money, but not when you're wildly successful to millions of people. Like he had millions of followers. All his things were sold out and all he got was $60,000. So think about how much money what other people got, right? Oh, it's interesting also. Curios was founded by, I forget the name of an ex-musician who was in a very big group who I believe has been on Howard Stern. I forget the name of it now. I'll put that in the notes. Not. Anyway, it was a really big group, but even that guy had to stop doing it because it wasn't enough to sustain him because of all the money that goes out of his control, because of the way the music industry is now. It's very, very hard, except for the very biggest people. They make a lot of money through touring and their own IP. There's a lot of things involved. I'm not going to pretend I even know. He started Curios to try to help other music industry people. And they put this wrapper on. Once he got done with his legal stuff, he had control of his name because you have to get all that stuff legally. You sign all these contracts, And he did an album. He said, I want to sell it directly to my fans. He sold the album for $1 each. Okay. He sold 1 million copies in 6 days. $1 million in 6 days. And whoever was responsible for creating that, they got 100% of that money. Curios took none of the money. Okay. I think the people wound up paying like $1 extra to Curios. So what? You know what I mean? and you're supporting an artist, which is way better than supporting all these other things, businesses, right? And I'm not against business, but I just think business takes advantage of artists. That's my point. That's in every facet of our society. Business just keeps wanting more and more and more. And we don't have the same objectives because artists, our prime objective is getting our art out there. Our prime objective is creating it and then getting it out there. But business is money. It's profit, right? I agree that I need more thought about profit myself because you do need profit because you have to sustain yourself, right? But they do it at the expense of other people. Not all of them. I'm sure there's lovely business people, but in these cases where we can see why are people so aggravated with Amazon? There's a lot of reasons, but one reason is they're taking advantage of people,
Yeah.
And
It
yes.
doesn't stop me from ordering from them,
No,
though.
I order from Amazon too. I'm not. What am I going to do? I need stuff. No,
I know. I
you know,
feel slightly bad about it, but not bad enough to stop.
right. But if artists, I'm not talking about traditionally published because that's different. That's a whole other thing. My books are always going to be on Amazon for the traditionally, and I don't. It's great, like I'm not trying to knock down a whole system. And I'm very grateful for my traditional contracts. It's a different thing. Honestly, we make royalties. And if the books sell, if the books sell well, then we do well. But, but it takes time. It depends on the person. I'm very proud of my traditional stuff. And this is not a knock against that. But I do have books, again, that have either not been published or my young adult publisher went out of business. And so I have young adult novels. I have my rights back. And young adult novels, those are there's always new young adults, right? So it's new to them. It's, there's plenty of people that have not read these books. And these are critically acclaimed books, so, and then I have other things that I just would like to get out there. But every time I've looked into it, it's like, it's going to cost me a lot of money to produce them and get them where they need to be and this and that. I still have, but of course I still have to make the ebooks and the audiobooks. But if there's a place where I can make 100% and it's easy for people to go get it, and it's easy for connection. I think the most important thing is the connection with the readers. I'm looking for as much connection with readers as I can have. That is my drug. That's my drug. When someone says to me, I love your book, and then they say why, they'll read me like a line that they love or something and say, wow, you really made me see this differently. Something clicked. And I've had a lot of people tell me that my books have really changed their lives. All of my books for different reasons, right? Kids with the picture books, obviously, it's wow, to make a difference in a kid's life. I get so high from all this, and I just want more of it. It's my raison d'etre, so all that to say that I just learned about this on a podcast because I listen to all these really productive podcasts now as opposed to the true crime. So I'm going to try that. And I was just about to start Stopify. I was just about Stopify. I was just about to start a Shopify shop, but it's so scary to build that. Like there's so much work that needs to be done, and you have to figure out fulfillment. They don't fulfill. All Shopify does is take the orders, right? Really. And it's a private website, so you have to send people to it. Otherwise, no one's going to just find it, right? Now, Curios actually fulfills these orders. Right now, they're ebooks and audiobooks, right? And so they send the file, and the people will buy the lifetime right to it, and they can load onto any device. If you have a Kindle, it will still load onto the Kindle. It will load onto all these Nooks, whatever those things are. But also, they have their own app to read these things. They really have it all planned out. And it's all because one of the creators is a musician that really lost his whole career because he couldn't sustain it and was trying to help other musicians. And then they found out that authors have these problems too. So they've included it. And I'm so stoked. It's the perfect time because I was about to work on that Shopify and I had tried a couple of times and it was so overwhelming. It's not easy. It's very confusing. I'm not technical at all, right? And it is so involved. And then I don't know if they take a percentage per sale, but it's a decent amount of money. I think they might, but it also is a decent amount of money to have Shopify, right? And there's a few of them. There's like PayHip or whatever. I got it for $1 a month for 3 months. And I'm so grateful that I did not actually make this thing yet. It would have been so many hours of my life. And then I would have had to figure out how to fulfill and this and that. And instead, I'm going to go on Curios. And I urge anybody to, if you're a reader or a music aficionado, this is your chance to be a patron of the arts for almost no money at all. It's like when you throw a tip into the coffee thing at Starbucks. People will throw all kinds of, and I'm not saying they shouldn't, but they tip at these places. You're giving us a chance to make the full amount of what the price is. We've never had that anywhere, right? Never. And then you pay this little fee that is less than probably what you throw in the tip jar at Starbucks. I think it's amazing. I think that it's a sign that maybe we can earn a living in society. The vast majority of artists cannot earn a living being an artist, especially if you don't have a partner that makes a lot of money. If you do, that's another thing. But on our own volition, we should make money from our creations, right? And then they have these subscription models where you subscribe and the person's supposed to produce work every month, right? But that is horrible. I never did that because how much can I really produce of quality? I don't know. I could produce something great, or I could in a month, every month. What am I going to really produce of quality? It's kind of alluring, but I'm like, no, it's going to make me hate the writing and it's going to make me churn out stuff that's not ready. So this was a very long thing to say, but I'm glad I said it. I think Curios is something everyone should check out. Writers that have, even if you're traditionally published, you probably have novels or some short stories that no one's taken. The person that has had everything published is a rare person, or it's so enriching to people. And that's what we're going to talk about now. We're going to talk about libraries and specifically Pascale's job, which I never really knew in all these years. And so that is my lead into, and libraries are equally awesome, by the way. But I was talking about things that you wouldn't find in the library, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But now, that's what it is, but the libraries are a haven and a magical thing. And I mean, we've talked about that. And Pascale, show your shirt for the people that are going to see the clip. What's your shirt say? Libraries
are sticking my boobs in the camera. That's, oh my God.
Libraries are like as slightly dramatic, but it's true.
Listen, I'd hate to say it, but it was free. I would never buy a white shirt.
So Pascale works for...
I work in 2 different places.
Right.
But they are both libraries.
That's right.
I hated it. We had the worst professor ever. She was...
Anyway, I was talking about my new novel is being published by the Wild Rose Press, but I have been, with marketing, you have to do, these days especially, we all have to market. So I was talking about the various categories that there are to put a book in and how you figure it out and crossovers. Can it be more than one category? I was telling you how frustrated I was doing all this stuff. And you were like, that's what I do. I go, what? that you typed in a bunch of stuff, but I did not know what you were doing, right? So
I I don't think anyone I know knows what I do except for the people I actually work with, like the
you're very
department
low
that I
key
work
about
with.
it. Yeah, you don't really
Because whatever. I mean, no, but people don't need to know the details of what I do. Who cares?
but it's interesting. I thought the categories were done by the publisher, and
No.
or by the indie authors themselves. It turns out that I mean, I didn't understand this at all, that you were doing all that stuff.
It's not, sometimes you can find them. Sometimes the publishers do. I guess they come from the publishers. That makes life super easy when they're already there. And you can find them, like most of my job is using records that other libraries have created because you just chug through it because we're doing a lot of work. We do hundreds of records a day. I think my department
100.
probably does. Yeah, usually I do probably about 100 a day on average. So if I'm doing it, there's three of us that do it. So there's four of us, but they're separate jobs. So in the last year, I have been learning um, to do them from scratch because there's a lot of books out there, independently published books. There's a lot of stuff that doesn't exist anywhere. The information doesn't exist anywhere. So you have to start from
Right.
scratch. So, yeah, you have to figure out everything. You have to figure out what the book is about, measure it, blah, blah, blah. Like there's a lot of
What
information
do you
that
mean
I guess
measure it?
people don't
Like,
realize.
literally
What? Yeah, you have to measure the item.
measure it?
People,
Wait, so you're
yeah.
working with are you like holding a physical book, or is it something just like on the computer?
When you do something originally, you have the item. You have to have the item
Wow.
because you need all the information from the item.
Okay.
Uh,
So
yeah.
so you have like
There's
a stack of 100 books every day to deal with?
no, 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 no. The 100 records are stuff that you're pulling from other places that have already been
Okay.
done. So we
Okay.
bring them in and then edit to every place is different. Like there's basic rules, but every place has their own rules as well. So we bring theirs in
So
and then we change
if
it.
I look in so wait, so if I go in a library like here, it might have the book, but the descriptions are going to be different. Is that what you're saying? The categories?
Not necessarily. There's general categories that I think everybody picks, like romance, but,
Okay.
it gets a little deeper when nonfiction is, obviously it gets a little more complicated.
So in the case of where you start from scratch, you get this book and you have to literally read pieces of it to see what it is. Is that really what you're doing?
Most of the time, no. Sometimes, yes, if you can't find any information. Some books have no information on them. You know how sometimes you'll have the summary somewhere in that book, and most of the time you can read the summary that's already on the book and then kind of figure out where to go from there. But some have nothing. Like you can't find it anywhere.
Wait, but don't they have an ISBN?
Yeah, that doesn't mean anything.
When you go on the ISBN thing, it's a company called Bowker, right? I don't understand why Bowker sells these ISBNs. How did they become the official ISBN
No
people? But
idea.
that's another weird, right? This is the crazy thing about publishing. Well, there's a lot of crazy things, but there's things that kind of make no sense, but they just are. And ISBNs are one of them, that you have to have it, but you buy it from this company named Bowker. You would think that you would buy it from like Library of Congress or something, right? Wouldn't that make more
No,
sense?
no.
Why wouldn't it
Yeah.
make more sense? It would.
No, I'm not saying it wouldn't make more sense, but no, that's definitely not the
But
way
where
it happens.
like, how did they? It's a monopoly. You have to get these I guess it has to be because otherwise people would have, God forbid, we have two books with the same ISBN. I really don't understand why.
That does happen.
Just it
That
has?
happens.
How does?
Very rarely. I have no idea how it happens, but sometimes it does.
Well, they didn't do it officially on Bowker because Bowker will never let you like you buy them and you get them in your thing, get them like a little cart, right? You get it like there's a feather running around. You buy them, in bulk because it's cheaper than just to buy one, right? So then you get into the thing, and they're very rigid. And the other point that I was trying to make about them is when you buy one and you use it, you have to write all this stuff out about the book into their system. So I don't know how these people don't do that because it's really required. Oh, I know, maybe though. Sometimes you can get an ISBN given to you from somebody from another company or something. Like, for example, if you go on Amazon, they will give you an ISBN, which is
The
wrong because that's
self-publishing
sort
on
of
it?
giving. Well, Amazon, if you publish on them, but you can't. If you do that, you're sort of giving away your IP. I think you're not supposed to do that. I mean, it's not good for you personally with your rights to your intellectual property.
But so many
But
people
still,
do
I
it.
think people do it, but they're wrong because it's hell to get it back. It's very, very hard to unpublish that book from Amazon if you've taken their ISBN. It's very hard. Unfortunately, it's very enticing. It's like, ooh, I could do this, and then I don't have to pay for one, and I don't have to go through because Bowker is a lot to deal with. But I don't understand. Like when I put something in for an ISBN, I find it so annoying that I have to sit there and type in all that stuff. So I don't, but I do it, so I don't quite get how that is not attached to the ISBN when you get the book. That's so odd.
Yeah, I don't know because like sometimes you can get the information, like Amazon will give you very limited information that you can kind of work with. But like it doesn't help. Like Amazon has subjects for most of the books but we don't use those subjects. So
Interesting.
they're useless to us. I mean,
Right.
they might be useful to somebody out there, but not to us specifically.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah, Library of
They
Congress.
have their own categories then. Is that what you're
Yeah,
saying?
their categories are very, very general.
Really? I thought but they have subcategories. Like, when you see a book and it's like number one and then they have the slightest little category. So I thought that they really went deep into
Yes. Well,
subjects.
not really. Also, it depends on the item. The more popular items, you're probably going to get more. But the stuff that you have to do originally, there's not a lot of information out there about them. So,
That's interesting. So you actually, in some cases, have to go through the book and get clues about it. Is that what you're saying?
yeah, sometimes I did a bunch of children's books the other day. Some of them you can't find anything, or in this particular case, it came as a set. You know those little children's books that are box sets? They're
Yes.
like Bob's books or, things like that. Sometimes the libraries want them individually, and there's nothing out there it's all the set. So you
Oh,
have to
God.
take apart the set and then do each of them. And
Yeah, yeah.
so, yeah, I mean, but you want people to be able to find them. That's the point of the
Well, I think
subjects,
that's
you know.
admirable. I didn't know anybody was doing that, frankly. I thought that it's actually really heartening to know that's being done because I just thought they just got tossed out there and whatever happened, happened. I didn't know anybody was categorizing them
No,
or anything.
I mean, and there's rules. Like, here's the thing is, libraries are for the people. They are for the people that come in the library. So you want them to be able to find what they're looking for. That's the whole point is, you
Yeah,
know, it makes their lives easier, especially if you're doing research, you have homework. I mean for fiction too, that's great. But
yeah,
yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, the whole point of libraries is to serve the public, you know,
yeah,
and make it accessible for them. And we don't just do books, we do everything, everything that you
yeah.
can think of. I mean, there's a lady in my office that does what they call the library of things. So a library can basically buy anything, gardening tools, a telescope,
Really?
pans to
What?
cook with. Yeah. If you go to
You're
your
kidding. I've
library,
never seen that.
yes, libraries now
Wait a minute.
have
So I don't know what you're saying. You're saying people can borrow these things from the library? Is that what you're
Yeah,
saying?
blood pressure monitor, sure. Video
Kidding.
games, hotspots, video game consoles. Like you can go
You can
and
borrow
take out,
the library?
yeah, like a PlayStation. Yeah.
You can actually borrow that from the library.
Yeah. You know those big games that you use outside, like bocce or stuff like that?
Yeah.
Libraries have all
Really?
of these things. Yes. So she catalogs those
Yeah, no, I had no
specifically.
idea.
Yeah. And
Wow.
she's the one person that does that. So you can discover if you go to the library and you like, I want a mini bowling set, you know,
Right.
and she's the one who puts that information in so you can find that item, you know. Yeah.
I've never seen mention of any of this stuff. Are they in all libraries or just certain libraries?
Most libraries nowadays have them. I mean, this wasn't always I think I don't know how long it's been. It hasn't been that long. I'm so bad with stuff like that, but it's a fairly recent thing. And by recent, I'm talking several years, but yeah, if you need something,
Not
so for anybody out there, yeah.
very. Where are these things? Where would I find them? Is there a special room? I don't. I
No,
don't see them.
you can ask for them. You know,
Just
every
have to
library has
ask.
yeah, they
Wow.
now advertise it on their websites and stuff. You can get museum passes. I've gone to many a
That I
museum.
know. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's very
you
cool.
can,
I did know.
yeah,
Yeah.
like and they
Well,
give you
you're
a
blowing my
pass.
mind. Like seeing things like.
Yeah,
But what would the point of taking out to borrow a pan? Because why would you only need a pan for like a what is that?
honestly, I have no idea. I've never done it. I don't know. I have no idea.
Maybe like do they have like air fryers?
I don't know. I've never seen an air fryer,
You know,
so
that
I
would
have
be
no
because
idea.
I could see borrowing that to see if you like it before you commit to buying one, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
To try it out or say you're having a family thing, you want to, I could see that, but a pot itself, if you need a pot, you're not unless maybe that's so bizarre.
I have
This is
no
really
idea.
crazy.
Yeah, I mean, but it's great. It's great for people if you can't afford like a blood pressure monitor. Oh, they're not super pricey, but they're a little pricey. And if
Yeah,
you
but
need to
I
check
think that's
your
good, but I also but if you have this where you need to check it, you really need it's like borrowing it is not it's only a temporary thing. I don't I I don't understand why I feel like someone's gonna need that on a permanent basis. I don't think they can borrow it
not
for like
always,
how long did it
every library is different, but sometimes your doctor wants you to monitor it for a brief time. Didn't you ever get those monitors they hook you up with for like a week?
Yes.
Something like that. I mean, it's very helpful to people. So there's a lot of stuff.
Fascinating.
Yeah, yeah.
I go to library, but I've not seen any mention of this.
Yeah, you could get board
Wow.
games.
I
You could get
saw like what?
board games, every kind of DVD, Blu-ray, 4K. Like I said, you
They
could take
have
it a
that
hotspot.
how do you do that? How do you do that?
A hotspot, you go and you take it out. That's like equipment.
Is happening? How do you take out a hotspot?
You know those things like I got one from T-Mobile. I'm not even sure, but yeah, you could
Wait,
take.
are you saying, oh, it's an actual piece of equipment? Because when I think of a
Yeah,
hotspot, I think of making one on my.
maybe I'm not
You're
calling it
saying
the right thing. Maybe that's
I
not
don't
what it is.
know. I thought a hotspot is like you make it yourself on your phone, or things are provided.
I might be calling it the wrong thing because, like, I got something from T-Mobile when I moved because my signal wasn't good in my
Well,
apartment.
that's a repeater. A
A
repeater
what?
is
Okay,
a repeater.
maybe it's that. I guess I
I
have
mean,
no
I don't
idea.
know, but so it's something to okay, but it's an actual piece of equipment because I was thinking of a hotspot like
Yes.
as this
No, you
thing
can
that you
take.
just go to.
Yeah,
That's why I wasn't understanding. Okay, that's
yeah.
interesting.
They have great
Huh.
stuff. Like my granddaughter's has a Tony box, and it's an audio box for kids. And you change the character on top, different characters, and they do different songs, different books, different like you could get Eric Carle. and it'll have a bunch of things, and you put it on top of the box, and it reads the stories. It's very cute. So you can go to the library and get the
Right.
different ones because they're expensive, you know? Video games are expensive. Like, yeah, the
That's very
library has
cool. I
all
didn't
of
know.
that. Yeah.
Wow, this is very enlightening. I had no idea. I'm gonna
Oh
have
my
to check
God.
out what goes on. I
Yeah, there
was
are
just
so many.
literally in a library, a couple of days ago, and there was no mention of anything. I don't know. I guess you have.
I don't
It's
know,
like the
but
secret menu. It's like restaurants have those secret menus. I think libraries have secret menus of
yeah,
things you
I
could get that you don't know
no,
about.
they now advertise all that stuff on their websites. But I mean, libraries
Maybe on
have
the website. Yeah,
programs.
I go. See, I never look at library. I never look at library websites. I just go into the libraries. That might be the
Oh
problem.
my God, there's
Yeah.
so many things. There's tax help, there's ESL classes, there's computer
Yeah. I
classes.
know about classes. Yeah. I do know about classes. My mother
Yeah,
used to take share yoga. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Most libraries offer yoga, and what's that other thing where you dance or what? Oh, Zumba.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
yeah,
I
they
like
have.
that's amazing. Making me think I should check out what's going on at the library for classes these days
Yeah,
because,
and if
why
you're
not?
homebound, they'll work that out for you. You know, like seniors that are
Really?
homebound. Yeah,
Wow,
the
that's amazing.
library has everything. I know
Wow.
I am very pro library, not just because I work in one. I started
I am
working
too.
at
I
a
mean,
library.
obviously, I'm a
Yeah,
writer for
yeah.
libraries,
I started working at
but
the
going back to
library.
the categorizing.
Yeah. What about it? Go ahead.
Well, how many categories do you give a book? Do you give more than one?
Yeah, it's usually more. It's usually, I think, average is maybe two or three. It really depends on the item. Like, if it's nonfiction, it can get several, obviously. Um,
Right, because then you
DVDs
get
get
very,
several.
like, yeah, different types of
Yeah.
exact right,
I
so
mean,
how technical does the system like, you're picking I guess you're picking from categories that are already in your system, right? Like, you know
usually,
what I
yeah.
mean? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
so, like, like, how deep does it go? Like, say for a romance book, does it go to the different types of romances?
Like there's romance, suspense. I don't remember them offhand.
Yeah, but it does go down more into, like, the different kinds of romance.
Yeah, and then you have to, consider what the book is actually about. So, like if it's
Right,
fantasy, but it's about werewolves and like you have to take different aspects of the book
right.
so people can find it.
So you would be able to categorize that it's about, like, a fantasy about werewolves? That's in the description, though, but that wouldn't be in the category, would it?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you could put in like you could keyword search werewolves, romance, fantasy.
So it's keywords also, not it's
No,
besides, like, specific
no, you can do it by subject or you can do it keyword. If you want like a bunch of things, if you want to really narrow it down to, like I said, werewolf, fantasy, romance, you can do that by keyword. But if you just want like a book on romance, if you want romance, you can put in romance. It'll bring you a million things, obviously. But
million, right, that's broad. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, but
Well, okay, so wait, are you typing in not only subjects, but also do you put keyword, 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 or is it all in the description?
no, The the key no, if you keyword, it'll take it out of the summary or the subject, the
Okay, that's
title.
what I thought. Okay. So
Yeah,
you're not listing keywords, but you're making sure that the description includes these keywords. So then when people look for werewolves, it will be pulled out of there. Okay, that makes sense. So really, it's a large responsibility when you're putting in a book that has nothing because if you miss the werewolf, say you didn't know, and then it's just not there. So like that's really wow. So that's
yeah, it's definitely
I
important for
it,
nonfiction. Nonfiction, like, say you want World War II, but you wanted about very specific aspects of World War II,
yeah, yeah,
location,
right.
because people want very specific things. especially in
Sure.
nonfiction. Yeah, you have to make sure all those things are, there so they can find that.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
like I said, I'm learning. I've been doing it for that part for about a year. I mean, but I've been doing the other stuff for over 20 years. So you kind of really have an
Wow.
idea already. Like I know everything that goes into a record. Like there's
Yeah.
where the book was published. You need like the country, the state, if it's the United
Yeah.
States, the publisher,
Right.
the
Yeah.
Library of Congress
Yeah. Well,
number, the Dewey
but I
number.
just, I'm really,
You need to figure out the Dewey.
you guys still do that?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
That might explain why my books sometimes they're in a weird place. I'm like, what? Why is my book here?
You know why? Because we can give it a Dewey number, but each library will put it in a different place.
Yeah,
Not all the time,
I've
but
noticed.
yes, because certain books can go in different spots, you know.
That's right. They can. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's up to the library and how they categorize things
Yeah.
where they want it, you
But I
know.
don't think that was really before computers. That was really vital because you had to really go to these sections. And if you were looking for the thing and it wasn't in that section, you'd never find it. But now that we have, search engines, we can find that book. Like if we're looking for a book about the Battle of Long Island, it really doesn't matter where you guys put it, as long as the category comes up properly, like what you did.
I know. But yes, because you can also search it in the library catalog by the Dewey number. But when you go to the library, in order to locate it physically in the library,
Right, right, right. So that, right, but the hard part is of finding out that the book even exists can all be done on computer, and then when you go to the library, that's when you find it through the Dewey thing, the Dewey Decimal System,
yes. Yeah.
right? Yeah,
Yeah. I mean,
that's wow, that's a lot. This is so complicated. I knew it was complicated, but I didn't know that you were doing that stuff. Like,
yeah.
it's a lot. So that's fascinating. So what do you start with? You start with doing a description
No,
if you're
well,
starting. Yeah.
the lady who's teaching me taught us to start from top to bottom. So, like, you need to put in, so there's so many things. There's different pieces of the records. So, you have to put in the material type. Is it a book? Is it an audio? Is it a DVD? Blah,
Okay.
blah,
Yeah.
blah. There's a million different things.
Right.
Other audio, because
Yeah.
there's playaways, there's Vox books, Wonder books. There's like a million different things. You have to put the year. You have to put the location. Then, like I said, uh, there's different places.
Yeah.
It's so complicated to describe, because these things have to go
I'm just
like that.
interested when it comes to what I'm interested in is when you got something from scratch and it's up to
Yeah,
you to actually identify it for people. Do you start with doing a description or do you start just categorizing it first?
I don't even know how to answer that. There's
Depends.
different pieces. So you start with like basic information, like I said, the year, the type, the blah, blah, blah. Then you have to put in the ISBN number, the Library of Congress number, the Dewey number, where it was cataloged. Like we have our own location that it was cataloged in.
Right.
There's a thing called RDA. You have to put if your item was cataloged according to RDA. You have to, yeah,
What
then
is already
it's like a rule thing.
you see
Yeah,
all these secret little things that are
yes, it's a type of I don't even know how to describe half these things. It's like, it's something but I like a lot of my job is like I can tune out. I can listen to other stuff. I can do other stuff because I've been doing it for so long. It's like boom, boom, boom. You don't even think about it half the time because a lot of it is memorization. Most of it is memorization. Which is funny because I don't have a memory for shit usually, but for some reason
well,
that
you really yeah, you did it so long for sure. But when you're responsible for creating the whole thing, that's something where I'm sure
that yeah,
it
that I
seems
have to
like a big
think about.
responsibility.
Yeah, that is it
Yeah.
takes longer, you have to think about it, I mean, then there's other stuff. There's like whether it's in audio, you have to put that so it's you have to place certain things in certain places.
Let me ask you this. If you get something that's not categorized yet, from scratch, do you get an audio book?
Right now, we do get those, but I don't do those. Right now, I'm just doing books. But yes,
Because
we
that would
get
be really hard. You would have to listen to it.
not
That's hard.
necessarily. Sometimes,
No?
yes. It's a little easier now with the internet. In the old days, all the catalogers had TVs, DVD players, VHS players, audio players,
Okay.
you know, because yeah,
Wow.
you'd have to, especially with a movie, if the information isn't on the container, you have to put the movie in to get that information. But like I said,
Right.
nowadays it's a lot easier. Most of the stuff is on the we use IMDb for information. We use All
Okay.
Music
Yeah,
for
that must be
information. We
helpful.
use
Yeah, yeah.
Amazon for information. There's a lot of different websites that you can get, like a
Okay.
track listing or whatever, you know. But
Interesting.
DVDs,
Wow.
you have to know who's in it, who produced it, who directed it, who the composer is, who the editor is, blah, 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 blah. Music, you have to put all the featured performers. Classical CDs are crazy. That's a lot of information. Yeah,
Right.
it's a lot. But like I
Wow.
said, most of it is you do it long enough, you remember most of it.
I was fascinated because I thought publishers really. You said you looked at a couple of, when we were talking, I think you looked at a traditional one that didn't even have all those categories. It used to be that all these things had all these things. And even when I did, for example, I did 10 Steps to Finding Happy, right? Is that the name of the book? Yes. I researched all these categories and I made sure they were all in that book, and like not just on the book, but like also listed with the ISBN and listed like I did all this category stuff. I did all this research and I thought I thought, yeah, sort of had to do that. I didn't realize that some people weren't doing that.
I think of course, it's always helpful. It's helpful to us, but you also have to remember, even if you're putting keywords or what you think everybody has that there's Library of Congress rules, there's rules
Well,
that you have to
that's
follow.
what I used. I used Library of Congress. No, I
Yeah,
used the Library of Congress stuff.
and you
So you're
also have
saying
to
that you got, but
yeah,
everybody gets the same. So you
at a
you don't
local
necessarily
level.
use the same
Yeah, no.
what?
At a local level, people use different things. Like in our records, we put with the title, we put if it's a DVD, a video recording, what kind of video recording, a sound recording, what kind of sound recording, a large print with the title, so that when you look it up, that will be one of the first things you see to distinguish that it's different from other things. That does that make sense? But not everybody does that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some
Interesting.
people leave out that information. Really, I can't imagine that this is interesting to anyone, but uh yeah,
'Cause we take it for granted. We don't think about all the work that goes into like so when we look for a book, we want everybody gets very specific about what they want to read, right? We don't want to be just like we don't just look up a self-help because we need to know what kind of self-help book we want or this and that. There's so many, I wouldn't want a book about arthritis. You know what I mean? Our needs and reading how this all came about. Cause I was talking about my book, Love the Ones You're With, the categorizing of it and how, although it's women's fiction, it's also got the elements of a high heat romance, right? So that's when I was talking about the crossovers and this and that. That's when you told me that that's what you do. And I was like, I had no idea. But
yeah.
so
Like I said,
the
I
fact
don't think
that
anybody
you
does.
don't know working, that's so funny. But it's so interesting that that you are part of there's all these people that actually make sure that we can find those categories. Without you guys doing that, we wouldn't
Yeah.
be able to do that. Everybody thinks things magically happen, right? But there's so much effort put it
Yeah.
into we can just have that thing we want. And I just find that interesting. There's so much we take for granted in this
Yeah.
culture, this being one of them. It's
Yeah,
fascinating.
there's so many things, but like you're saying, like you do your website, right? But do you think anybody thinks for more than 5 seconds that no one thinks of how that's made the work that goes into it. There's so many things that people are
Oh
behind
my
the
God.
scenes that
Oh
to
my
make
God.
your life easy,
And
but you have no idea.
well, it used to be that you had to pay somebody to do it. There was no option to self-do it unless you were really good at that. And you could
Yeah.
teach me coding till the cows come home. Once again, I don't know where the cows were, but well, I do not have a technical head. I cannot process that. So I used to pay people to do my websites. I've had different incarnations, right, of websites. So then now they have the templates, right? And I can do it, but it takes me forever, right? It takes me literally, like the other day I have a new website for Love the Ones You're With specifically because it's a pseudonym, SJ. So I call it Love the Ones. I had this great idea to put women's fiction in the thing. That's before I realized that it was also hybrid with romance. But anyway, Love the Ones Women's Fiction. So I go in. So I had a friend that I'd met her because she was a fan of some of my earlier work, right? And so I interviewed her and I was quizzing her about the categories and what she thought about things. And then she looked at the website and it turned out that she liked the colors and everything, but she didn't like the font. And I didn't like the font either, but I didn't even understand that I could change that font because
Yeah.
it's very hard to even find that box. Although it's templates, it's not so simple. So I went in there and there's so many things that you have to set up and mess with and put the pictures in and this and that. All I was trying to do was change fonts and headlines. And the entire day was spent on this, the entire day. And the website I thought was already done, right? And it's also never ending because you always have to add more and more and more.
Yeah.
Like you have to add reviews. You don't have to, but you should. So much effort goes into all these things. You're absolutely right. And people just
Yeah. And
don't
people
understand
click.
all that effort.
Yeah. No, because you take so much stuff
That's
for
true.
granted, especially with the internet. There are people working on that day and night. It's just like technology, like the libraries. There are tech people. There are so many tech people that keep this stuff up and running, that people don't realize even exist. They just assume, you just don't think about how things
Yeah.
get done, but there are a lot of people working
Because
very
we make
hard.
us appreciate yeah, we make us appreciate not only the people doing it, but the things that we have that we're getting, you know, I think we have to take some time and really think about, wow, this is quite amazing, and then I would say that the more you appreciate and have gratitude for things, the more that lifts up our mood too. I think it's good. I think it would turn around for everybody because we have such this negative feeling lately. There's good
Yeah.
reason for negative
Well,
things are happening
yeah,
to us
but
that are very
no.
appalling. But why not lift ourselves up and consider all the efforts that go into things and appreciate it? I think that
Yeah.
it will help everybody, including us. I think it would behoove us to start thinking more
Yes.
of the good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, listen.
What you're telling me about the library, those other things, I think that's amazing.
Oh my God,
I'm like,
there
wow, I'm
are
blown away.
librarians working very hard to help the community. They work with schools, they do outreach.
Wow.
There's a program at my place. The outreach lady does a book club in the local jail. They help
That's so
people with
nice.
taxes, help the community. Libraries are really doing a
Wow.
lot for your community that
They
you're
do like
probably
that's the thing I
unaware
know,
of.
but I didn't know they did the outreach to the jail is really lovely.
The
I mean, I
outreach,
think that's so
they
helpful to
help
help people.
senior citizens, the LGBTQ. I always fuck up the rest of the letters. I'm so sorry. I don't mean to.
At
Community,
fine.
what? That, yeah, they help all of these different
At the
groups.
LGBTQ plus, yeah.
Plus,
But
yes,
I mean
I feel bad. I always
that's
mess that
amazing.
up. They help,
Well, if you say plus, it covers. Yeah.
yes, unhoused people. There's so many places. They're trying to get social workers in the libraries. A lot of libraries have social workers at this point, but they're working on getting more social workers. They're
Wow,
helping
that's
people learn English. There's so many
wow.
tutors. There's so many things that they help.
Wow, that's wonderful.
Yeah, and I think people should know
Well,
that
we
that there's a lot
definitely
of, yeah,
this is so
people
much
need help.
emotion. we should look more at the websites because I had no idea that any of this, like when you go in the library, it's just like, okay, do have a funny little story about it. I went to the library the other day. I had gone to my chiropractor and I was going to meet some friends. So in between, I just figured I'd just go to the library and do what I needed to do rather than, do some writing rather than go all the way home. And I went in and I asked them for a quiet room because it's better. I just lately I need quiet to write. Like I used to be able to
Yes, of
work in any
course.
conditions. I used to be
Yeah.
able to work in Dunkin' Donuts with the music. I just can't. So not that the library is noisy, but stuff was happening. So they let me have a
No,
quiet room, and then
they can get
I'm
very noisy. Libraries are not
yeah,
quiet
yeah.
anymore.
So I know. So then I'm like, hey, I'm just out of curiosity. I wonder if maybe you have one of my books. And she looked at me like, oh no, what's this? And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm an author. I have a lot of books, but why don't you look for Revolutionary Friends? So she looked it up and she was very doubtful. Like, probably a lot of people come in that are just like, who knows what they are, right? But then
Yes.
she goes, we have it. We have it. She was so excited. I was excited too. Cool. And then I'm like, all right, I'll sign it for you when I come out. So she had it out. She was so excited. So then the boss comes out and the book is sitting there. Now the book is already in, you know how you guys have nice plastic and this and that. It
Yeah.
has the category on it. She looks at, I signed it. I'm like, okay. And then she goes, oh, you can talk to our children's librarian. She's not here, whatever. I'm like, oh, do you guys do programs? Oh, yeah. Do you live locally? Da, da, da. So then she goes, well, thank you for the book. I go, oh, I didn't give you the book. You had the book. And she was like, we had the book.
You
I
know
should have the
what?
money to just hand out my book in the library.
Listen,
I don't get my books
there
for free.
there
I
are
thought
a
that was
lot.
funny.
Yes, because they get a lot of local authors who come and want
Yeah.
them to have that book. Listen, not everybody's book is really needed. Not to be mean, but
Yeah, and look, I don't have the kind of money to go around to libraries and giving away my books because they cost me a decent, like whatever the retail is, I generally pay for half. So if Revolutionary Friends costs, I don't know, $18, I gotta pay nine. I must pay $9 for each one. So you can see that it wouldn't behoove me to go handing them out. I just can't. I can't afford it.
yeah, but
So I would
your
love
books
to.
are in the library. I run into them all the time.
Yeah, yeah. So, but I thought it was just funny how now, how did she think that that book got bound with the stickers and all that stuff so fast? Like that would have been really amazing.
Was it the head of the library, the director of the library?
Yeah, yeah, I think, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Do they think magic happened?
I sometimes they don't know all the details of everything. I mean, eh, I don't want to talk bad about them because they do a lot, but they do a lot of
Yeah,
their jobs are very complicated. So, sometimes they
yeah.
don't really deal with
So
a
they don't
lot
even
of
think
that.
about the nitty gritty of what goes on at the bottom. Yeah,
Sometimes
yeah, I
they
get it.
don't,
I get it.
especially if they weren't a librarian. Most of them were librarians, to begin with that worked, in a library, but sometimes they're not. So, yeah,
Yeah. Well, anyway, I thought that was amusing. I was very happy they had it. Like, because who
yeah,
wouldn't be? It
that's
never
pretty
gets
cool.
old when you go in a library and you see your book. Like, it doesn't get old. It's amazing.
I
I love
listen,
it.
I always
But
tell people when I get it, when it comes back or it gets checked out, I tell everybody, I'm like, oh, I know her, and blah, blah, blah. It's kind of exciting because it's
I do
kind
have
of
a little
cool.
thank you. But meanwhile, David Sedaris made your life complete. What the hell was that?
I because I know you. I've known you for 30 plus years. I I take you for granted. I know you. We're very close.
I thought you. I worked with him. You're so funny because you don't tell anybody about any of the stuff that we do, right? Like, but David Sedaris, like, woo, okay,
I
fine.
I f- I fangirled so bad. I'm usually not like that. I I
You did. You
usually
put it on Instagram, a picture of the thing that broke.
I
Like, I mean, it's very sweet.
because
But
I
she went to
love
go see
him.
David Sedaris at a signing, and he was very nice, and he drew in her book and everything. And
He
it's
drew
very sweet. I'm not
flowers.
trying to. The name of the book
Oh my
is
god.
You put flowers in your book. Yeah. That's nice.
It was
I
very
mean,
nice.
come on, like I immortalized you.
I know, but like I said, I feel differently because I've known you forever. I just take it for granted. Him, I had never met him. It was very exciting. I was very happy.
Yeah. All right. Okay. But
I have now seen
you
both of
just
my
making
favorite
a point
authors.
to
I'm sorry. You know what?
yeah.
Yeah,
No, I was kidding, but like, well, I will say many a true thing has been spoken, Jest. So
I know.
I do get a little jealous because after all,
I
I
saw
wrote
your
the
comment
comment.
on
Yeah.
Instagram. It made me laugh. I was like, I didn't mean to
Like,
insult you at all.
wait, he completes your life? But
Yeah,
yeah,
that
I
was a
don't
little
know. Uh,
dramatic. I mean, there's
I
so
know.
many things that complete my life. I was being very dramatic.
No, you were excited. It was the moment. I get it.
I
I
was,
get it.
I was, because
If it was
I
your aunt
wasn't
last year, it would have
sure.
been like the Tom.
Listen, I love him, but I wasn't trying to stand in a long line to meet him. I just happened to get there at the perfect time. I waited not even 10 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah, you know me. If it was at
Wow, that's
night,
amazing.
I already got home so late, I would not have stood there because I don't care who it was. It could have been Jesus himself, and I wouldn't stand there. I get tired. I'm like an old lady. I had to work the next day. Like, I don't have time for that shit. Anyway, this is so long.
We just did a signing.
Oh, yeah. No, it was like
Right. I know. Well,
a whole.
how does this happen? I didn't. I just have one other question. Did he do a reading or just a signing?
No, he did a reading. I bought tickets for his reading. Yeah, and it's
So
great.
he did the reading, and then
What?
but you didn't have to wait a long one. So he did the reading first, and then he did the signing.
No, he did signings before and after.
Okay. Yeah. It makes much more sense to get the signing before the
Yes.
reading. Yeah.
Oh my God. And it takes a long time because he talks to everyone because he would go get his book signed before he hit it big. And it would disappoint him when somebody didn't give him, personal attention. So he
Yeah.
likes to give everybody that comes
Great. Yeah.
a good experience.
I think it's very, yeah, I think he's right. And that's how happened when Chuck Pahalniuk, I have, I really
Yeah.
adore. And he took a long time talking to me too. And he signed, I bought a bunch of books and he signed them all. And he was lovely. So yeah, I think it's important. And I think most authors would do appreciate, because they
Yeah.
themselves have been fans of other people. But I
You know what
remember when
else?
the Olsen twins did a book.
Oh God.
What?
Say Olsen twins.
No, go ahead. What did you say?
Oh, no, I was going
I
to
did.
say I love it because he likes to feature other authors that aren't maybe well known. Like he had like a new author, this young girl, and he let her do a reading. He asked her to do a reading at the beginning, and she was great, but it was someone he never heard of. But yeah, so he has different people. He has them sell other people's books that he loves. So yeah, it was a good
Nice.
experience. Yeah. Sorry,
No, that's
Olsen
very
twins,
nice.
go ahead.
Yeah, because an author they don't get a crowd to come and listen, so he's giving them a chance. That's very nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Olsen twins?
He sounds like a great guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Olsen twins did a signing, and people were instructed not to speak to them at all.
Yeah, that sounds
Can you
about right.
imagine?
No. Why would you bother going? That's so stupid. So obnoxious.
I guess they have fans. They have a lot of fans. But,
Listen,
all
my
right,
daughter
so let
loved
us
them.
end.
Yes.
Yeah, well, everybody that ever saw Full House, and then they had all those videos. My God.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Oh God.
Forget it. Okay. So I guess I'll just read mine. I have quotes about books because I knew this is what we were going. So the next stuff we'll talk about next time. That makes no sense. I'll let it do that. Here's the first quote. A room without books is like a body without a soul. And that's G.K. Chesterton,
I
who I
like
do
that.
like. I think he's a great
Yeah.
writer. And then when I get a little bit of money, I buy books. And if any is left, I buy food and clothing. And that is by Desiderius Erasmus. That's a great name, Desideratus, isn't it?
It
Love it.
is.
Thomas Carlyle said, "What we become depends on what we read after all of the professors have finished with us. The greatest university of all is a collection of books."
I love that. So true.
And Oscar Wilde, who I just adore, said, "It is what you read when you don't have to that determines what you will be when you can't help it." So there you
Those
go.
are good. Those
Thank
are
you.
very good. I'll start with Sarah Jessica Parker. And she said, if you are a parent,
Wait, you just cut out completely. Wait. I can't hear you. You, hello, speak again? Now she's gone. Maybe she'll come back. What happens at the end of these recordings? It happens a lot.
hi,
There you
back.
are.
Woo!
That's weird. Why does this happen at the end of the recordings a lot?
I think my phone is just like, it's enough already.
Okay, you started reading the quote and nothing was coming out. I'm like, what's happening?
Okay. Take two. Sarah
Okay.
Jessica Parker. I'll do it quick. If you are a parent, introduce your children to their neighborhood library. It will give them a real sense of independence to have their own library card and enjoy borrowing books. And that is so true. Little kids get so excited. It is the best feeling in the world when they get their card. It's
Yeah,
so amazing. They're
that
so
is.
excited.
It is. It's
Yes.
incredible.
And this one I really liked because it just made me laugh. It's by Michael Moore, the filmmaker. I really didn't realize that librarians were, such a dangerous group. They are subversive. You'd think they're just sitting there at the desk, all quiet and everything. They're like plotting the revolution, man. I wouldn't mess with them. I love it.
That's funny.
Yeah,
I like this.
me too.
Well, we've done it again. I enjoyed this conversation. I thought it was really interesting. Thanks for sharing your job. I've known you for 30 something years.
That's funny.
When you hear about people doing data, it sounds so boring. You don't even ask. You know what I mean? It's like, whatever.
I know. Most people, when they ask me what I do, they tune out immediately. And I don't blame them. It's fine.
I thought it was really interesting and it's important. And I love how dedicated you are to it. And thank you.
Honestly, I do love my job. I really do.
Excellent. That makes all the difference. All right, guys. On that note, we shall see you next week. Oh, the swans are waiting for their breakfast over across the way. Anyway, adieu.
Bye.